Hello, everyone. Before we dive into the run today, I just wanted to give a brief explanation. Originally, after Powder Keg, I had recorded a run using the formation Wall of Fire. However, due to an error on my part, half of that run's video and audio files were lost, meaning that I can't exactly post half a run to YouTube. So, unfortunately, we're just going to have to place that one in the bin. We will revisit Wall of Fire later, but for now, we'll just move on past it and into the next run, which will be Blunt Force. Enjoy the show. You wake up once again alone in a wagon. This time you cannot help but berate yourself. That was a mistake. It was a critical flaw in the strategy. And as a result, you failed. Fortunately, failure doesn't have much consequence in these loops. After all, you just wake up here anyway. But you think about your most recent loops. One defeat of the Psy, two failures. You'll have to try those failures again later. But the one success came with the leper. Perhaps he is the secret. Perhaps your new companions will make use of him. Only one way to find out. The crossroads awaits. Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Loki Orn, and we are back in Darkest Dungeon 2. And today, we're coming off of our last few runs. I'm currently 1-2 against the Seething Psy, which is a little frustrating. I want to do better than that, but the Seething Psy is a heck of a boss. And today we're going to try out another new formation here. And conveniently, the first one up is the Occultist, Alhazred. He is a Ritualist. And I think in this case, we're actually going to get the opportunity to play with that a fair bit. It's even complemented by Natural Swing, which is quite good. So I think we ditch Demon's Pull for Binding Shadows. And I think what we end up doing is actually... We want to get in Burning Stars too, but we want to have the curses. So I think we do... How do we do this? What is the best way to do this, I think? Maybe it's leave it in like that and put Burning Stars in and try to go with Sacrificial Stab. So, on hit on combo? Well, you know what? While we think about that, let me make the rest of the formation first. So here it is. Occultist, Jester, Leper, Man-at-Arms. This is Blunt Force. Which I definitely think is how the Seething Psy might work. I'm not 100% sure because I really think... I'm not sure the damage output is here, but I want to give it a try. So let's see. If we're going to be like this... Sacrificial Stab has a pretty substantial boost. But Binding Shadows does just give unchecked power. I don't know. We need to think more about how we're going to set up the Occultist here to make use of... We really need to have access to Burning Stars at some point for that damage output. But we also want to make use of Sacrificial Stab. Now, fortunately, we have a Wanderer Jester, and he will happily dance in and out of these back ranks. So that shouldn't be much of a problem. And we'll actually set him up closer to how I normally set him up. We're going to be kind of moving away from our last run where we were trying to make a lot more use of his bleed skills. And I still think the finale solo combination is worth thinking about, but I'm not sure how to slot it in without causing, too much of a crisis here. But maybe we try it. How would we try it? Maybe something like this? But unfortunately, now that won't work. The leper does not need to move into the third rank, so I think we leave it like this. But he is a Wanderer. Then we have our Leper. His baseline skills will be just fine. Lurker and Tuckered Out. And finally, the Man-at-Arms. So 3 Wanderers and a Ritualist here. We'll get rid of... We're probably not going to need Rampart. We'll get there, and then we'll think about Defender. I think Defender eventually becomes Strategic Withdrawal, because that is just that is a lot of healing, and the Man-at-Arms can basically just post up at the front and stay there. But for now, we'll leave in Defender. So yeah, this is Blunt Force. Let's take it out. Let's give it a spin. But yeah, so thinking about this formation in a macro sense, and especially as it relates to the Seething Sigh, we do have quite a bit of stress healing in this formation with both the Jester and the Man-at-Arms. We have a fair amount of spike stress healing. And we have the Leper, who is self-healing, so really only Alhazred, who is our primary healer in this one, doesn't have any form of stress healing other than criticals. So that is definitely... Speaking of criticals... Oh, Merchant's Guild Seal, that's nice to get early. So as we get these folks set up here, get rid of that. Put our bandages in. And we'll get rolling. But yeah, so stress healing is quite strong here. Now, unfortunately, against the Seething Sigh, I'm beginning to think that stress healing is not what matters, because it's kind of just too much. You almost can't afford to spend turns stress healing, or even healing for that matter. And if that's the case, then you might be better off just not worrying about it. But we'll definitely be able to get to the Seething Sigh with relatively low stress between the three great stress healers we have. Healing output, we're reliant entirely on Alhazred. Now, granted, healing skills plus 33% healing given, so he is going to be healing for quite a lot with, oh, geez, I always forget the name. With Weird Reconstruction, which is quite good, but, you know, it's still feast or famine. You can still just end up with a bleed, so healing items are always nice to have. But then you have Baldwin and Barristan both have self-heals. Barristan's, granted, is only at Death's Door, but it heals him for quite a bit. I think it heals for, you know, like 33%. So, you know, you're talking about, what, like 17, 18 kind of range? That's quite a lot. And that is enough to fully tank through, I think, most of a cycle of the Seething Sigh's stuff, which is kind of the point, basically, of he can survive entire rounds if need be. As we just kind of set up here. Set up Retribution, concentrate all the damage on the Man-at-Arms. And finally, damage output. Now, this is where I think, against the Chains of Denial, this formation's great. I think this formation is, like, a decisive winner against the Chains of Denial. It's very melee-heavy, but that is not, as we've seen, that's not really a backbreaker. But against the Seething Sigh, there's some concerns that the damage output's not going to be high enough. This formation might be looking to try to endure a little bit. And the reason for that has more to do, I think, with the Leper. Like, the Leper and the Jester are going to be our main damage dealers, because Alhazred has to spend turns setting up. And the Leper is just, you know, his range on his skills, you know, 6 to 12, upgraded it's 6 to 16. He's very feast or famine. And that, you know, that can be kind of problematic. But, you know, we're here to give it a try, and I'm not gonna give up without a fight. I want the Seething Sigh dead, and we're gonna get there. Songbook of Touching Dirges early is quite good. We could buy playing cards with him. We might be able to proc a relationship. Where are we going? So, Greater Protectorate is not worth fighting. Zone 1 Harvest Child. Clearing out the lair for 2 mastery points is tempting, but this formation does hardly anything with bleed except for the Jester, which, you know, we in theory could swap out his bleed skill for something else. So I'm not sure that's going to be the play either. So I think we're heading into the Sluice. And if that's the case, we will buy the Songbook, we will buy the cards, because we're not going to get to shop anyway, so we may as well spend that. Get some relationships close here. Wow, that didn't take long at all. There we go. That's a great start. But yeah, one final thing about the challenges of this. Do we just turn off? Do we want to do stun resistance on somebody? Yeah, sure. Put it on the leper. The one other challenge of this run is we only have bleeds, so we really need to go to the sprawl. We really need to get the whatchamacallit, the complete catalog, because you really need dot output, and we don't have another source of it other than, you know, slice off for bleeds, which even when upgraded is only ticking for 3. Like that's not enough basically. But, you know, we're going to give it a try. Do we upgrade Bolster? Feels like we probably upgrade Bolster here. The alternative is what, like Weird Reconstruction or Sacrificial Stab? Something like Weakening Curse or Vulnerability Hex is also an option. Inspiring Tune is always good, as is Fade to Black. Fade to Black has some merit because of that combo point. I mean, we're heading into the... I think we're heading into the sluice, so it kind of doesn't matter, because we're not going to encounter... Like, stress isn't the main thing I think we need to worry about here. Wish we could find a way to have both Binding Shadows and Sacrificial Stab for those extra points here, but it would mean giving up Abyssal Artillery, which I guess we can do against the Sai, so maybe that's the end state here. But yeah, I think we go in like this, so thank you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, you know the drill. It's been a tough road, but we're going to take Blunt Force and try to Blunt Force trauma our way through to the Seething Sai. Until next time, see ya.